Welcome to Ulster County Native Nursery. We are a native plant nursery in the Northeast in New York where we had a rough winter, but we're going to show you how we landscaped our native perennial plants to give us visual interest throughout all of winter. And this is the end of winter. I'm shooting this video in the end of February, beginning of March, where we had up to 20 to 50 inches of snow throughout the course of this winter. In this picture, you can see we had probably about 6 inches of snow, and you can see the dark-eyed juncos in here enjoying some seed heads off of our anise hyssop. This is that same hyssop at the end of January where we had another big snowfall. You can see the stool off to the left is completely covered with snow. You can see the junco and the finches walking around on top of the snow right now collecting seed heads. Those seeds have blown off from the wind off of that hyssop. Now they're up there jumping around, getting some of the seed heads off of there. Where those seed heads are, exposed because we didn't trim them back. We left them. We left them because we knew it would give us some visual interest and some food for these birds to come around and get something when the winters are that cold and that much snow. So you can see the birds around there right now getting some food. I'm lucky we left that hyssop standing there. It's beautiful outside the bay window. And how's that for visual interest? That's red twig dogwood. We keep that as our hedgerow right along the road. And it gets the dust from the vehicles driving by on it. And you could see it's still just as red could be. What a beautiful shrub to have and be able to see that in the wintertime too. Just bright red. Yes, native pokeweed. I said it. We have it. I love it. It's a great winter interest plant. The amount of birds that this attracts, you can see the berries are mostly all eaten. There's a couple of them left. I pruned this throughout the spring and the summer, so we had it not overgrown, kept it nice and neat and trimmed, and left it standing for the winter for the birds. You can see all the berries that have been eaten so far, and just a beautiful plant. I don't care what anybody says. This has been very busy over the winter. We've had a lot of birds that come in there and take a look and eat the berries, and you can see where we trimmed it, some of the stems to leave them for bees to hibernate in. This is our Rudbeckia Laciniata. It varies in height. Anywhere on our property, it's anywhere from 4 feet to maybe 12 feet tall. And we left this standing throughout the winter for more visual interest and bird food. The finches love the seed heads. As you can see, you can take a look at all those seed heads, and they are just empty. There's not a lot of seeds left. Those were all blooms. You can see it from another angle. That had hundreds upon hundreds of blooms. The seeds are now just about all gone from the goldfinches. They came in there and they were eating on that for a while. They really enjoyed it. Purple finches as well. And the juncos, a lot of the native songbirds. Just a beautiful, all the winds we had too, you can see it's still standing tall. And we had wind gusts at times of 20, 30, up to 60 miles an hour, and these are still standing tall throughout all winter. This is the end of winter, and they're still standing tall. You could see some of the stems that we cut from last year, left those for bees, for the next generation of bees to hibernate in. Did that systematically. We'll go over that a little more in detail in the next video. In the next video, I'm going to go over how we cut back some of these old stalks and preserve them for bees and other native insects. But you can see all the stalks that we had cut last year. And you can see the varying heights of the seed heads. You can see here, that's our goldenrod that we left standing. A lot of birds enjoyed that. The aster off to the left there, the seed heads are pretty much all gone on that. And standing up here is our giant yellow hyssop. Looks like it's probably anywhere from about 10 to 12 feet tall. Again, didn't flop over after all those winds. goldfinches were on that too. The American goldfinches really enjoyed that. If you look beyond it, you can see our Christmas tree that we put out there. And in here one morning, we saw a hawk in there. You can see him on our Instagram video. He was in there for probably about a minute. Here's some new growth in our iris that we had submerged in our pond. And if you have one, you could leave it in the pond. Once it flowers, just leave those flowers. And look at the beautiful seed heads that you can have in the winter. Beautiful contrast in the snow. Here's some native Beebalm monardas. Cut some of the flower heads off at the end of fall. Give some varying heights for bees to nest in, the native bees. We had quite a bit of Beebalm, so left some of the other ones, some of the flower heads you can see. There's also some native honeysuckle intertwined in there that you'll be able to see as well, but there it is right there. And the seed heads that we left for the birds. They really enjoyed that. And purple spotted Joe Pye weed still standing. Seed heads on that are pretty much all gone. I'll be cutting that back pretty soon. You can see some old stalks that we had from last year. If you look in there, there's actually something in there hibernating. Pretty cool. Here's our purple giant hyssop still standing. Birds enjoyed that over the winter. Good thing about some of these taller perennials is that they don't get buried in the snow. So it gives you visual interest, but it allows the birds to be able to eat the seeds off of them. If you look down at the bottom of the base of this, there was something burrowing down in there, some type of native bee or a beetle of some sort. Some turtlehead, little different type of seeds that are left. Gives you a little bit of variety in the landscape, the winter landscape. Stands out a little bit, something different to look at. Another one of our favorites, New York Ironweed. Look at how beautiful this is. I mean, it's beautiful in the summer, but it's almost as beautiful in the winter. Look at the seed heads. There's a couple seeds left. You can still see some of the seeds left, not much. All the rest of them have been eaten by the birds, but even the spent flower heads look like flower heads. They're just as beautiful as they were in the summertime. Very, very important plant to have in the landscape throughout all seasons. This is our Helianthus Angustifolius, and it's one of the taller perennials that we have in the yard. Look at how tall that is. Maybe 14 plus feet. Hundreds upon hundreds of blooms. You can see all the different heights of the blooms that are on there. You couldn't even begin to count the amount of flowers we had, but the amount of flowers you have gives you that much seeds. So the birds enjoyed that too, and you can see from the previous year the cut stalks that we have. Cut some of those back again for the native bees to utilize. So another picture right there, you get a good understanding of how this plant grows and how many stems that we'll be able to cut back this spring to allow more bees to utilize it. Look at that. Those are all the old flower heads. Hundreds upon hundreds. Winter landscaping with native perennials in the Northeast. There you have it. Hopefully we gave you something to add to your repertoire for your gardening. Hope you enjoyed the video. So in the next video, we're going to go through this same garden area and we're going to cut back some of these stems at different heights. I'm going to go through when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, what heights we're going to do it, so that way the bees are able to utilize them for the next generation. So that will be the next video, but in the meantime, I hope you enjoy looking at our pokeweed and some of the native goldfinches enjoying it, and we'll see you in the spring.